Hello and good afternoon. This is Pastor Chris McCombs, PC Studios, coming to you live from Lexington Park Baptist Church. This is January the 8th, 2024. It's the first program of the new year. Happy New Year's to all of you. I hope you had a blessed Christmas and a blessed New Year, and that the blessings of the Lord will be upon us into this 2024. So thank you all for coming back. I see Marisa and Annette out there. Welcome to the program. I don't know who else might check in, but if you want to check in today live during the noon hour, you got to be here at facebook.com/Pastor Chris McCombs. All of the channels on YouTube and Facebook are great, and if you come in after hours or at some other time, thank you for, again, supporting the program and being a part of it. It's part of the ministries here at Lexington Park Baptist Church. So every week, we're going to continue this tradition in this new year is we'll look at the sermons before, and we'll kind of, the sermon I just preached, and we'll develop that at a deeper level of study and understanding throughout the week. So we're looking at the Magi. Epiphany was last Sunday. And Epiphany basically just means, the manifestation of the Messiah. They had an epiphany, a revelation of Jesus. And so Epiphany is more related to that kind of concept for us. Is I want everyone to have an epiphic experience, epiphany, to where they see the realization and the revelation and the manifestation of Christ in their lives. Literally, the Magi, or wise men, came to seek that. They came, they understood the signs of the time, they understood what they were seeking, and they came looking for this king, this Messiah, and they found him. And so I hope that each of us in our journeys, that we come closer to Christ. This unseen Christ, and let's face facts, it's unseen. We have faith. So I talked Sunday that we need to walk by faith, not by sight. That's that unseen concept we've been talking about from 2 Corinthians 4:18. We should all know it by now, right? This unseen aspect of our faith. That so we do not focus on the things that are unseen, for the things that are unseen are temporary, but the things that are eternal that are eternal. The unseen is eternal. So if we focus on the seen, we are focusing on things that are temporal. But if we focus on the things that are unseen, maybe we can't fully see it, but we believe it, we know it. It's behind the scenes stuff. We know it's impacting us now. That's the eternal things. I know that if I give, then I'm storing up treasures. I know as I serve, I'm blessing the Lord. You may not see those things, or you're forgiven because God says he did. He died on the cross for your sins. You believe it. It manifests in your life. It's things that are maybe unseen, but you start to see there, because it's behind the scenes, right? God's spiritual realm is impacting this temporal realm. We begin to see those things. That is exactly what's happening with the Magi. And so, and of all of Christmas, I have a lot of favorite characters, and it changes every year. The Magi are just the coolest. There's some mystery about them. There's, and all of their seeking this Messiah, this coming from afar, giving, just giving the gifts, but their journey, the flight of them, and the mystery of them it still enthralls me to this day. If I look at them, I would have to say the Magi might be, besides Jesus, obviously, right? And I know Mary's cool, Joseph's cool. I have a lot of respect for Joseph. Kudos to Joseph. But the Magi, they're pretty significant in the story, even though it's not the birth of Christ. Their journey begins with the birth of Christ. And so does our journey. Our journey begins with understanding Christ. So let's look just at a little bit today, and we'll flesh this out more in this week. I want us to look at the Magi specifically today, but also considering in the days ahead, we're going to look at the chief priest, we're going to look at Herod, and then we're going to look at their reactions and what they do, and then we're going to look at Joseph's dream. And so we're going to pull all that together in this week. So let's buckle up and get going here. Verse 2 of Matthew chapter 2. Or let's just start with 1. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of King Herod, wise men or Magi came from the east, and they arrived in Jerusalem, and saying, "Where is this who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star at its rising and have come to worship him." Let's just focus on this one verse. What a powerful, revealing verse. First of all, it tells us a lot about who these Magi are. They're from the east. So if you look at Jerusalem over here, right, they're coming from the east to there. So because the west is the Mediterranean, so they're coming from the east. They're coming inland. Now we say these three kings of Orient are. That's the song, right? So how far east did they come from? We do not know, to be honest. And anything I'm going to really say today is speculative. But what we do know is that they came. And we do know that they came from the east. And we do know that they came, listen, after Jesus has been born. And then they follow his star. So somehow, and I would believe it aligns this way, at the birth of Christ, God put the star in the sky. Now, whether we go back, and there's some brilliant work been done that I've studied before where they think some of the planets aligned, so it made the star look like it was moving. It was the planets' alignment, and it was moving over. But however God orchestrated it, it's amazing, because the stars I talked about this are constant. They don't move. Stars don't move, right? Stars don't move. They're constant. So when we look at the constellations are constant. And so these Magi knew that. But something in them, they believed in the heavenlies, they believed in astronomy, and they had ancient writings. So whoever they are, they were smart, they were affluent, they were knowledgeable, they were wise, the wise men, right? They probably had wealth, coming with the gifts that they came and traveling from where they came from. And I would say it was an entourage. Now, I talked about that Sunday. We know for sure they had 3 gifts. We know for sure it's men, so it's at least 2, right? So there's a plurality. But we don't know how many. We don't. And just because there's 3 gifts doesn't mean there had to be 3 wise men, right? Nor does it mean just because there were 3 gifts and then we know that it was wise men, there were just 2. This could have been a numerous amount. And in my opinion is because when you look later in the text, it says that all of Jerusalem was disturbed. Not just Herod, but Jerusalem. We'll get to that a little bit tomorrow, but I won't focus on the disruption. This was an entourage, in my opinion, in my view of reading this. And it was a large group of people that had come from the east. Now, it is my perspective and study, and there's many people that agree with this, but there's others' perspectives, so I can't say definitively. We can't say definitively. But what we can say definitively, wherever they came from, is they had ancient writings and they knew to look for the star. How did that come to pass? My opinion, it had to be influenced by Daniel in Babylon to get into the secular places of that ancient day and to the east. Babylon or some type of influence of that makes sense, and perhaps Daniel in captivity. That is where these writings came from, because Daniel had influence in those kingdoms. So I'm sure there was writings. The star, I'm not really sure, but somehow they knew to look for that. And there was there had to be writings about this king that they were coming to seek, and they had waited for it for generations, longer than the silence. From Malachi to Matthew is 400 years of silence. So they at least waited that, but I would say even longer than that, because you go back to the days of Daniel. They've been waiting for this day. Passing this on from generation to generation. That takes faith, you all. That takes believing in the unseen. So we've been told this is going to happen. We don't know that it's going to happen. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we're looking to the stars. And we're searching the ancient scriptures, or to them, their ancient writings, because they wouldn't have had the Torah and the Holy Scriptures. I mean, maybe that was there too for them to read. Maybe Daniel had a copy of that. I don't know. We don't know that. The mystery of that. That's why the mystery of this is amazing to me. And so these Magi, looking at astronomy and looking into these ancient writings, they can begin to see the unseen. They're looking for the unseen to manifest itself so they can see enough to act in faith. They start to see the behind the scenes motions. They know now at this moment that the Messiah has come. They believe that. Whatever this king is, they now know it's happened. So they're going to seek him out. So they come and they come in verse 2, they come to Jerusalem. There's a disturbance in Herod. There's a disturbance in all of Jerusalem. And they're coming saying, listen, where is he who is born King of the Jews? We have seen his star and have come to worship him. So the Magi had this faith without sight. They were walking by faith, not by sight. They left their foreign land. I don't want us to dismiss this. They left their country of origin to go to Jerusalem. Well, and we don't know that they knew. Well, they knew he was going to be in Jerusalem, right? So, and the star was directing them that direction. So they kind of connected these things together, right? And so they start to move out. But they're following the star, and it leads them to Jerusalem. But they need to get to Bethlehem. So they're off, but they're thinking, we're in the right region. The star is here, right? It's pointed us here. The texts point us here. They run into Herod, and they tell Herod these things. Where is this child? Who is born King of the Jews? And Herod is, he's disturbed. Really, he's furious, right? The chief priest, we will find out tomorrow, perplexed. So those two things we'll study tomorrow. But the response of the Magi is they're looking, they're seeking. Are we seeking this king of the Jews? And isn't it not coincidental that the same statements that the Magi would make will also be the same things that will be said of his death, King of the Jews? Jesus is King of the Jews, but Jesus is King of all. He's the King of kings, and the Messiah has been born. And you know what? The Magi knew this. They knew this. And so they've come and they've arrived and they've sought this moment, and they're making their declaration of what they're there to do. One, we've seen the star. So they're saying, look, we know astronomy has led us to this day and the ancient writings have led us to this day. And we have shown up, and we're here to worship this king. So naturally, Herod is furious, disturbed. All of Jerusalem's disturbed because he's the king. He's not a good king, right? And so this is causing all this concern, seeing this entourage come of Magi and all the people that would be with them, all their animals and all their tents and everything that would have to have been brought for this journey, right? What an amazing thing to behold. Maybe it's not as big as I'm trying to make it out to be. I don't know, but I would think the safety, they had to travel. They probably had guards. They might have had cooks. They would be traveling with all their equipment. The camels and the animals. Just a massive undertaking that these Magi take. They had to have money. The gifts, they had to have money. They were well-to-do. So Herod took it seriously. But most importantly, I want us to take it seriously. Will we seek Christ like they did? Will we come with one declaration every Sunday, but every day of our life? I'm here to worship the King. I think that's what we learn from the Magi, is that if we want to start to see the unseen, it comes with this attitude of seeking. If we want to see the unseen, it comes with this purpose. This purpose. And what is that purpose? To worship Jesus. I pray in this new year that you will seek him and you will worship him. I'm not saying you don't do that already, but let's continue to do it. And let's make that our focus. And whenever we fall short, let's fall back onto those concepts. God, I seek you. God, I worship you. And that's where the Magi were. And no matter what disturbances in our world, because there were disturbances with Herod and the people of Jerusalem, but not with the Magi. Why? What's the difference? The Magi had faith that Christ, the Messiah, was real and he was born. And we can have that same faith now. We know that Jesus is Lord. Hey, God bless you. Have a great day. Remember these two realities. God loves you. So do I. I'll see you here tomorrow. It's good to be back with you. God bless you. Have a great day.